This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Okayest Hunter podcast, coming at you from the Okayest Hunter podcast studio, presented by Spartan Forge.
Spartan Forge.
Dude, their new app, so it's like a web app now, but their new app drops on September 15th officially. They just made the announcement today, so you better go scoop up that discount of 25% and use code OHP, which stands for Okayest Hunter Podcast. Boom. I nailed that one. Cheers to Drop Time Spirits, Deer Camp in a bottle, or the official drink of Deer Camp, or Beer Camp.
Beer is the official beverage of Beer Camp. That stuff is definitely the official beverage of this podcast.
There we go. What else? Backwoods Grind. You can use code W2H podcast for 10% off. I tried to get a hold of those guys and no luck just yet. Because I should just text them, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, backwoodsgrind.com. We got some coffee up there on display, which you can't see off camera. There we go. I thought it was my computer.
We had an echo.
Echo. That was you.
That's all
No.
right.
Fucking
It's all
A.
good. Rookie mistake.
I feel like there's some other stuff. I mean, look at this place. Look what happened in 1 week. Last time we were sitting here, we had just hung drywall.
Yeah.
And now we have carpet and wood and
Mhm.
paint, and
Yeah.
it was mudded.
Feels
Still some
nice
more
and
work to
homey.
do.
You could put a cot up here when you get yelled at.
Yeah, I could sleep down here if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I got the sleep aid right there and a little whiskey, a little scotch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My wife's like, what are you going to bring all these bottles downstairs? I'm like,
Your
well,
magic rock.
Yeah. Hey, I like the lighting. I like the ambiance. I'm all about setting the tone, you know? I got a cup.
Turn your head.
I'm just blanking on, I feel like there was really something important I was supposed to say today. I'm not going to be here next week. We're not doing a podcast next week because
What's
we're
going on?
my wife is going into labor on Labor Day. We're scheduled for delivery of baby number 3 on Monday. We're going to have to be at the hospital at 6 a.m. So there will be an episode dropping next week, and y'all better pay attention because it's going to be jam-packed for early season tactics.
Okay.
And that's all I'm going to say for right now. I'll tease it out a little bit later or something. I'm not sure.
All right.
You were telling me about it a little bit last week, and it sounds like a really, really good one.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
It is.
Some big names with some like really, really granular stuff all in one episode.
Granular.
Deep dives. What? And you just wrote a blog article that just aired today.
Which one?
It was your part 2 of Front of Center.
Front of center.
You
better get that thing out of your mouth.
Don't forget your release.
That's right. Yeah.
Those will be here tomorrow, by the way. The Don't Forget Your Release stickers will be here tomorrow. I'll take some fun photos of them, get them on our website. So for everyone that is dying for one of those.
Tattoo that on a place you look regularly.
Yeah. You can. I think we'll see. I might be able to stick it on my riser. Like you had mentioned. I don't know how well it'll fit.
On your riser?
Yeah, that's right. Just went from 6 to noon.
Yeah.
Thinking about bow hunting a buck.
Last week it took about 15 minutes for it to get weird. This week we're going right into it.
It's weird quick. Derek's here with us again. That's news.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know why he keeps coming back.
Happy to be here.
Like
I just
the
wanted to see
smell.
what this room turned out. Yeah, I'm going to head out now. Looks good, guys.
Okay, looks good.
And he brought us a nice photo.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, we're gonna have to put that up.
One big fun, one little fun. Is that what I'm seeing there?
Yeah, there was a friend of ours, a friend of my wife's that she had worked with. Her parents friends had like a deer farm up near Peshtigo, and we lived up there, and they had a batch of fawns that were penned in this cool little farmstead. So they let us come and pet them and play with them. And of course, the wife at her creative side took some cool photos. So
Sweet.
matted that one up. Thought Eric might need a little
I like it.
Yep.
wall decoration need. So
We were just
awesome.
talking about. So yeah, because you brought that, right before you guys got here, I was teeing up an order to get a poster of the Okayest Hunter podcast for those that don't know, it's, you have to upload it in like a 1:1 ratio. So it's a square, like an Instagram square photo.
Sure.
But the original design was meant to be like a magazine cover. So I have it in like a poster format. So I thought it'd be kind of neat to get that framed and put in here, like a movie poster kind of.
Very cool.
Or a magazine.
That look really cool.
I don't know. Issue number 1. Never pass.
Never pass.
That's kind of what I thought to do there. What other news am I forgetting? I think Bill texted me. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe he's going to tell me something important. Oh, no. We're going to try out his app on Friday.
Cool.
You can try out the web one, but we're going to try out the app
Mm-hmm.
on Friday.
Nice.
So, I don't know. I'm excited about it. I was looking at some of the screenshots. I think it was Bo Martonic that shared some, and they're pretty juicy. Like, it was showing things like hunter pressure almost, which is something that you guys know that I'm really hopped up on, but not so much as like a heat map or whatever, which is what we're building for the new app. But his is like how many hunters hunt this zone. It's compiling all this information. How many bucks were harvested? You can go find this
Using
on the
like
DNR.
harvest data and
He's
tag
grabbing
sales.
all of this, and then he's weighing it against a whole bunch of other factors too. And then
Wow.
there's historical data that's all right at your fingertips, plus a journal, historical weather, and then the predictability piece, which again, no one else has anything remotely close to the power of what this is.
There's apps out there that have like parts or little pieces of that.
Yeah.
But having it all at one is pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
Even you can, if you're left-hand, right-hand, you can like do some cool trick with the app to make it so it's on your right thumb or your left thumb. Like little tiny things like that. He did not
Yeah.
miss a single detail.
It's
See,
intuitive.
so
This is militant, detail.
So seeing how you're righty, but you're left eye dominant, you could work with your left hand.
I'm all goofy. I'm all
Sorry.
messed up
You're ambidextrous.
a little bit here and there.
You can switch hit.
So you want to talk about breaking down a public piece of property and some early season stuff?
I don't think it just pertains to public. I think it pertains
Private
to any
too.
piece. Yeah, any piece where you have ag, you have some hardwoods, and you have a nasty place for bedding.
Yep.
I think it applies everywhere. It's pretty general stuff. I mean, you can go anywhere and find it, but I think it's good stuff to just talk to or talk about.
Right off the bat, I think, and this just came up because our buddy Dave, I was talking to him the other day. He was sending pictures of that buck that he just got mounted.
Yeah.
He shot a few years back. I almost think that private land parcels that maybe people have hunted a long time, I think those are the ones that need to be like broken down.
Yeah.
More than public, because I think people just get into a habit, a
Yeah.
ritual on private of like, I don't know why I hunt here. Like my dad always just hunted here, and like
Yep.
those spots are the ones that end up getting burned out. So like starting fresh at the drawing board and like breaking down a piece of private, maybe you've hunted your whole life. I almost think that's more beneficial than doing it on a piece you've never been on, because people just get set in their ways. We all do.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with that, because I had access to a piece of private for a few years of my life, and we even leased the ground after it wasn't free permission anymore. And there were several locations my dad would, I'm going to hunt the big oak tree. Well, there was 2 big oak trees, kitty corner on each end of the woods. It was wooded acreage, maybe 30 acres of it was woods. And then it went agricultural down the hill, and it was all swamp with a little bit of woods on it. Nothing good for trees. It was all basswood or
What's basswood?
it's a softwood.
I've not heard you say this term yet.
Basswood.
I know you're always talking about the tamarack.
Yeah,
But-
well, no tamarack on this property. It was cattails.
I should do
basswood, and
You need a tree post.
I need a sound for when Greg says new stuff.
Yes, Hunter.
Basswood.
there you go.
Term
Okay, yes, Hunter.
basswood. Okay.
Okay, you done playing with your button there?
We'll have a vocabulary test on Friday. So
Okay.
everybody
Yeah,
study up.
yes, you're a teacher.
Yeah. So
You learn stuff on this podcast.
yeah, you do.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Go on with the basswood.
The basswood. It's where you catch bass. Very large ones, in fact. No, but
Chlorophyll.
Largemouth
lots of
bass
chlorophyll.
tree.
Lots of
Sorry.
chlorophyll.
Okay, we're
Yes,
done.
they're very chlorophyll. Just,
Derailing him on purpose. Get off the fucking tracks.
will you shut up? No, but like you were saying, we're all saying, people are habitual. They go to that one spot. Dad was habitual to 3 different trees on that property, And yeah, he'd have success in one tree, maybe 2-3 years in a row. Well, because he kept going back there, either to go and clear branches or whatever, he would hunt there all the time. First 2 sits for dynamite, and then after that, the deer were coming out later and later and later. You knew deer were going through there because after a rain, it'd be fresh tracks, but they weren't coming through there during hunting hours. So it's real easy to educate the deer.
And the rut plays such a big part. And I think those storied stands, like the guys might hunt them early, say, oh, it's a good spot. It's a good spot. It's probably a horrible early season spot, but because people have shot big, those bucks might not be there. They might even be getting boogered up because, they might not even be living there. Right. But then come the rut, there's certain trees that they're always going to walk by, but I think that kind of gives guys a false.
Yeah, a false sense of a false sense of this is always a good spot.
We put the
time of year.
We put that tell us you're an OKS hunter without telling us you're an OKS hunter.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we got like several dozen responses to that. I tried to get to all of them. One of them that I grabbed here was been sitting the same spot opening day for 40 years. I mean, there you go. And there's no shame in that.
If it's opening
totally
day,
okay.
But if it's opening day of gun season and that property hasn't been touched all September, October, and then into November, there's no, who knows? Maybe that is a great spot. And with a rifle, they can skirt, a certain distance away. And with a rifle, it's a no-brainer.
Right.
It's always a good spot because they're within rifle range.
Yep. You guys want to talk to Levi?
Put Levi on, that Western duck hunter fella.
Hey, Levi, welcome to the OKS Hunter podcast. What's up? Oh, my God. I remember what I was forgetting, by the way, the freaking giveaway. So I'll get that going here.
Shoot, it's Priest. What's going on,
Levi? You're added to the giveaway list for next month.
Snuck in.
Good job. What's up, buddy? Welcome to the show.
How's it going, guys?
Oh,
It's going
living the
good.
dream.
Did you do your episode with your daughter yet?
That is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Opening
Okay.
day of dove season.
That's going to be really cool.
Opening. That should be interesting. We'll see what she has to cook up because there's always something interesting coming from her. So
Keep that on.
I'm sure there'll be a couple, Dad, that's a bad word.
She's keeping you honest.
But yeah, I just wanted to call and say, hey, bow season for us opens up tomorrow. I'm going to be going after my elk this weekend and whatnot. So I wanted to give kind of an early before season update and helped my buddy get his first archery antelope last weekend or 2 weekends ago.
Really?
Opening weekend of antelope for archery. And that was a blast. Like we had probably 25 stalks in just the one day where we were using a decoy and reaping them like you do turkeys. And it was so damn fun.
You're pulling some white pill adrenaline stuff.
Oh, it was awesome, man. It was crazy. They'd come in with their horns kind of showing and they'd come after you like they're going to kick your ass.
Their necks all poofed up and looking down like they're about to mess something up, eh?
Yep. It was a blast, and to get him his first antelope ever with a bow was pretty fun. And he was jacked, and now he's flat out hooked. So
That's excellent.
That dude.
How close did it end up coming in when you guys had that decoy?
the closest one was 30 yards, and that's what we shot it at.
That's pretty stellar.
Nicely done.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Started out at probably 200 yards or so is what it started out at.
Wow.
2 football fields away, huh?
Yep. And then came right in. They're really curious animals.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people like just wear it looks like a winter hat with ears on it, even, and if it's the right color and you can posture just right, and it's pretty neat how they'll come in and at least look and see if it's something that they want to tangle with or not.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. And like here, probably about like this weekend or next weekend would be like the best time to use that kind of tactic, because that's when they're going to be really rutting hard and they don't give a shit. They're coming in.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that are doing the Western hunts. That's like happening like right now, right?
Yep.
Well, this should have been
Yep,
us.
yep. Tomorrow we open up.
Greg's giving me the stink eye. He's like, yeah, sorry. Yep. Don't worry. I won't have a baby
Yeah.
next year because that seems physically impossible. So
I don't put it past you.
now the doctor warns against that stuff. Like, it could get dangerous. So we follow the rules. But, open season's open season, guys.
I'm going to tell you, January is going to be a dry month for you. We're going to make sure there's no alcohol around.
See, I was at least smart and planned mine out for March.
Craig's a real cock blocker.
Yeah, same here, Levi. Same here.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good to hear from you, man.
Anyway, I just wanted to stop in and say hi to you guys and check in before season starts and things get crazy.
Well, we'll be sure to keep filling you in via text message and through social for sure on what we're doing and what's going on.
Yeah, likewise, guys.
All right, bud.
You have a good one.
All right, take care, bud.
Best of luck
You
with the
too.
daughter.
Bye.
Levi with Pulling Feathers Podcast, everybody. Tune into their stuff.
Yeah, if you like waterfowl, Western hunting, he does a pretty cool podcast. He's even talked to authors about conservation books and things like that. So very well.
Yeah, he's talked to non-hunters too. He actually talked to like
Yep.
an anti-hunter to get their opinion on stuff. I thought that was a
Yep.
really cool approach.
Yeah,
Very neat.
yeah.
I don't know how we would do with that.
Not easy to do that.
It's not easy to do.
No, let me just talk to you while you hurt my feelings the whole entire time and contradict my way of life.
I don't know
Thanks.
if that'd be okay with me.
It would be challenging.
It'd be a
Would-
very-
it really would be.
Yeah.
What's the whole saying? Blood in your mouth beats what I'm going to say to you, or something like that. Like, bite your tongue.
yeah.
Sometimes blood in the mouth is better than what you're going to say to someone. That's like a better way to say the adult version of saying if you're not going to say something nice, don't say nothing at all.
Save your breath to cool your soup
Well, then how are you going to cool your soup? You're not blowing on it.
because you're holding your breath until you have to cool your soup.
So you get one big blow.
Well, whatever.
I'm trying to track your logic here, big guy.
I saw that smirk. You got something boiling up there.
Boiling, huh? Oh, there's a pun right there.
Simmering right there.
Now I want some fucking soup. Like, really bad. I'm so hungry. Just drinking scotch instead. I'm gonna get bourbon. I'm just gonna get trashed in here. Okay, so that was good. Thanks for the call. Okay, the giveaway I'll do at the end of the episode. So I'm gonna make all you guys hang in there all the way to the end. Then we'll announce the winner. I got the wheel ready to go. The Wheel of Fortune. Not like the Wheel of Fortune. This isn't trademarked, but it's better than when I was called the Wheel of Death last time. And Greg said that's a bad idea.
Wheel of okay.
Yeah, the okayest spinning wheel that ever existed. We got a lot of names on that thing from all the calls last month. So if you want to enter to win some swag, call into the show today and every Tuesday, except for next Tuesday because we're not going to be here
Yes.
unless these guys want to commandeer the podcast studio, which I don't recommend.
I don't know how to work all those buttons.
I do.
Yeah, because you have one of these at your job now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
It could be a party in here.
it sure could.
I even know the garage code.
Yeah, well, a few people know the garage code. I trust a lot of people. We're pretty low key around here.
Yeah.
There's a short list of people that if my house got robbed, I'd call first. Would you fucking take, man? Drop
So-
10 spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah, if your fridge in the garage is empty and you see the door is cracked open without the knob still, then you know we were partying.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. We'll leave you a trail.
But okay, so you were talking about the basswood and breaking down a property and hunting the same spot for years. But if it's opening day gun, you got some more range. But Derek, you've hunted a couple different states. How many different states?
All of them.
Yeah, okay.
All of them. No, I hunted Ontario with my dad, Kentucky, Illinois.
Ontario? That's a different country.
That's a different country.
That's pretty cool.
There's an Ontario, Wisconsin, though, I think.
Yeah, there is.
So
This
just-
one was
just
a
clarifying.
province,
Okay.
I believe.
Got it.
Yep.
It took a long time to get there, so. Yeah, I mean, some of these trips were a while back. My dad always was trying to look for a cheap, affordable way to get somewhere new and just have some like cool bonding time. So we've done a bunch of that. That was kind of before the whole you could find anything you wanted on a map on your phone. So
Right.
it was like
More of an adventure. You're looking at. You're
Yeah.
probably the guy in the passenger seat, the kid with the map.
oh yeah, we bought like the Michael Waddell Real Tree Atlas. That, it's
Yeah.
a regular atlas, but it's camouflage on the border of the cover, so it looked
Looks pretty BA.
So you're gonna get a big buck if you had it for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
You paid
but more
$29.95 for it. I mean,
South Dakota.
Oak
Went to
Tree
South Dakota.
Dreams just said they live 20 minutes from Ontario, Wisconsin. LOL.
there you go.
There you go.
See, we're connecting people.
That's right.
Yeah. I
But
don't
so,
know.
what did you learn as a kid that you've applied as a grown man yourself, as a dad now? And what the out of state stuff, we've talked about this before, but even in state, just new property in general. Like, what are you doing?
I'm like a weird guy. Like most people, like to get a spot that's good, and then like that's where they hunt.
Yeah, they keep going.
I have all these good spots. I'm like, I wonder what the next spot is like.
Do you ever get that feeling of you're missing out on a spot, like you chose wrong one when you have something? I should have hunted that one today.
Yes,
That would be
but-
hard.
But it's kind of fun. Like right now, talking with friends and whatnot. Like I did a lot of scouting over the summer because that's when I have time to scout. And,
Right.
like you build up this big stockpile of spots, and it's like, if I do this one first, and then I hunt this one, and then I hunt this one. Like, what's my breakdown of the
Yeah.
season? Just
Which one
thinking
do you
about,
hit first?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. I just love finding new spots and checking new stuff out. I think that's probably just goes back from scouting with my dad when I was a kid, and like
Sure.
you go walking around, and all of a sudden you find like a whole bunch of rubs in a new spot, and you have no idea, like, oh my god, like what is in that spot?
Yeah.
And everything I do is pretty much keyed in on. We mentioned it last week, and
Mhm.
you were kind of saying, how do you hunt it? But it's always around cover, something thick.
Yep.
And I was talking with a guy who hunts up north with me, and we were joking that like during gun season, you pretty much just go sit in the thickest shit you can possibly find, and that's the best spot. And that's what I've done the last 2 years. I just went into a shithole that's all
I just went into a shithole. Put that on a
I've seen
shirt.
a lot of deer there, and
Yeah.
like, everybody's sitting in the hardwoods, nobody sees shit, and
Right.
they complain, and I'm like, well, they're not in there.
Yeah. And I have an uncle that was the same way. He's like, you see all that Pine Ridge and there's some oak trees and it's kind of open. Yeah, we're gonna hunt there. No, we're not hunting there.
If it's
You see
pretty-
that?
see that
everything
tamarack
the land,
swamp
everything the
out
sun
there?
touches is not ours.
Pretty much.
You're like the reverse Simba.
If it's pretty, it's probably not good.
It's not good. It's no good
See
at all.
that sheer shadow area? That's where we're hunting.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
See that
See
spot
how?
that looks like a fucking nightmare?
Yeah, that's it.
It's us, buddy.
That's us right there. We're going in. We had one place we called Tornado Alley, and it literally looked, a windstorm had gone through there, sheer winds, and knocked a ton of trees down. So there's blowdowns everywhere. But those blowdowns coming, those trees coming down actually allowed the smaller trees to come up.
Yep.
I mean, it was so thick in there. And he put me up on a crappy old climber tree stand, and I'm on this busted off pine tree. I'm up there with my rifle. And I'm probably 16 or 17 years old. You're going to overlook this, but you're going to have to watch really quick, because trees were like, there were spaces in between that were maybe a foot between these trees, and they're growing all over the place. You're going to see something, and maybe it'll stop in there, maybe it won't, but you want to make sure you get a clean shot at them. Right. You could hear them. Yeah. Thumbs up. You could hear them come through, like literally 20 minutes before it was closing time. You could hear deer crunching around. You hear them stop, and you could hear them breathe, and you could just see trees kind of moving. And pull the scope up, you might catch a flash of brown. There's deer in there, but you're really pressed to get a good shot at them.
Okay.
It was tough, but hell yeah. But not one guy near me anywhere.
Yep.
So
I think it was like an aha moment, very similar to that.
Yeah.
When I was, I don't know, maybe 15 or 16, I was still hunting. I think it was during a week of gun season. This is up north in the national forest. So I found this big cedar swamp. There's an island in it. I'm like, oh man, that's the money, And it's nice. It's all that green sphagnum moss, so you can see forever.
yeah.
So I spent like 4 hours just still hunting around, quiet as could be. You're like, oh man, it's perfect. But you can see like 80 yards, 90 yards. Didn't see a deer. And all of a sudden I came up on the edge of I'm walking down the edge of like where the woods meets the cedar swamp. And there was a spot where just a huge area blowdown, maybe 100 yards by 150 yards. All the cedar trees are blown over and shit. And I'm like, well, I should get up and see if I can see the outside edge. Never thinking like the blowdowns were like any good. So I'm climbing up on this old cedar branch, trying to look across. All of a sudden I hear something. I'm like, holy shit. I'm looking. Well, like 20 yards in front of me, a buck and a doe bedded right in the middle of that shit. Start jumping. You can see, you see a tail. You're behind blowdowns. Tail. I never got a shot at it, but I was like, I just spent 5 hours, quiet as could be, walking around that cedar swamp that's open. Nothing. 5 seconds in this thick shithole. There's a buck and a doe.
Well, there's been a lot of
That makes
storms that have
sense.
blown
Yep.
through and knocked some
Tons.
things down. So that the
Northwoods gets hammered
topography has changed.
with, yeah.
Over the years, we've been hunting the same for opening gun. We've been hunting the same area for 10 years, but like trees have fallen back there. Vegetation has grown. Like the dynamics have changed. So the guy that said I've been on the same spot over the past 40 years, it might be the same physical spot, but it ain't the same spot. You know what I mean? Like things change.
Especially if it's left alone and nobody's manicuring it.
Yep. It's just doing what nature does. We have another caller, Nico, who is one of our favorites. Well, we don't have favorites, just like our kids aren't. Hey, Nico, you're live on the show. What's up?
What's going on, guys?
Hey.
You're getting ready for an out-of-state Western hunt.
I am. I am actually currently taking my bow out of the car to do some final range tests. I changed up my fletchings, and I want to make sure everything's still kosher.
That's a good idea, my friend.
Yeah.
Good job.
Would you go with 4 fletch or did you jump to 3 fletch?
I'm shooting 4 fletch X veins, but I went from the 1.5 to the 1.25 inch micros.
Okay.
And I'm shooting 4 of them with like a 2-degree offset.
Perfect.
Right. So.
Are you shooting a 4-blade broadhead or are you a mechanical? What are you shooting?
Yes. I'm actually going to be shooting the Valkyrie. I'll be shooting the Valkyrie 200 grain Jaggers. So that's like their trademark system.
Okay.
And that's a large 200 grain 3-bladed fixed. But then they also have an expandable that's got the same system, like how the collars and pins and all that. And it's at like 195 grains. And within 50 yards, they hit the same spot. And that's a 2-inch expandable with a 3/4 inch fixed blade on the front.
Okay. So a bleeder.
So I'm actually taking them both.
Okay.
They both sound like heat-seeking missiles.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to do damage.
Yeah. And they're quiet, man. I mean, there's outside of like 30 yards, all you hear is just the bow, barely.
That's nice.
We were just at Greg and I we were hanging out at Vector Custom Shop, and Derek was there too. We went down there, Lake Geneva area last week, and hung out with Isaac Smith, and he cooked up some. I guess it wasn't pork shoulder necessarily, but it was a pig that he shot in Texas. So first of all, that was really good. But then he was talking about he puts a bow on a machine and fire. And he said with 4 fletchings versus 3, he said at 100 yards, the grouping is your fist. If you go to three fletch.
Okay, he's got a hooter shooter.
Yep, he's got a hooter shooter.
And he said at three fletchings, he sasaid there is no group. It's all over the freaking place. He said, now I can't get it to shoot that good if it was just me. But he's like, with this machine, he said the four fletchings is like incredible, which makes me feel happy to know that that's what I'm shooting.
Right.
Away. So, and I have a Greg at home, so to speak.
Oh, yeah,
so Greg's
for sure.
going to redo my shit. That was the joke we made last week.
Mm-hmm.
That made me feel inadequate. I did not have a Greg joke.
Yeah, he's like,
when I set mine up.
I don't remember how that all came about, but it was pretty funny.
I did get a few text messages though when you were messing around. So,
but no, so that's cool, man. So you're getting stuff ready to go. Now we're talking about breaking down a different plot of land. Now we're whitetail guys here in the Midwest, but obviously we just talked to Levi out in Wyoming, and he's talking about Western hunts. So curious to hear how you're breaking down a piece of property for how you're going to approach things.
For
high level
going out
overview,
west?
like how you're breaking down a property to get on.
If you want to talk about out west, or if you want to just talk about good old fashioned deer hunting here.
Yeah, because I kind of approach each one of them completely differently depending on what I'm doing. If I'm here at home, I try to actually approach every piece of property like it's my first year. Even if I've hunted it for 5 years, I approach it like it's my first year hunting, because with hunter pressure and rotation of crops, different fields coming in and out of CRP, it's always changing. So my biggest thing is I always look for topography changes or big breaks. So like let's say they've got a 1/4 acre of woods that they just mowed everything down in the fall. Well, in the springtime, that's all going to come up as fresh vegetation. It's going to be a lot of good browse. That's going to be a big area I'm going to want to check. Or if we have one thing I do, I hunt the Shawnee National Forest a lot, and that's just a big stand of trees. So that could be a little bit daunting. But one good thing to look for in those type of situations is what I call good breaks. So you'll have a massive pine stand, and at an elevation, you'll see those pines will stop growing, and all of a sudden it'll be like hardwoods. Or you'll have like a bunch of beech nuts and maples and stuff like that. And that line where all those like fir trees and all that change over into hardwoods, you're going to get a whole lot of activity right on that line. They use stuff like that, like a highway.
Sure.
We got a new term,
Okayest hunter.
beechwood nuts.
Oh God. Here we go. Every time he hears a new tree name, he's going to hit that stupid button.
Come on, man. You got to remember,
You're like
I
a kid
am
with a
the
new
audience,
toy.
okay? I'm the idiot in the room, and I'm not saying our audience is idiots, but, I'm trying to learn here.
So, Nico, we were talking about and parcels that don't get logged or manicured, as Greg had said. Like the Shawnee National Forest, I'm sure hasn't been logged in a long time because it's a national forest, so it's probably not been logged.
Right.
But do you get areas that
yeah, it hasn't
storm
been
damage?
touched in a long time.
Yeah, all the national forests are tied up. They're trying to get logging deals, California courts, whatever. But do you get areas that like natural storms and whatnot, or old dead trees? That's the reason logging is great. But
Right.
you get these old dead trees, and you're getting them either blown over, they're uprooting, and like you're getting these transitions, like you're talking about, but like through
Or
like almost like weather.
or emerald ash borer killing off all
Killing
our ash
off
trees in our
every
swamps.
lowland trees you have
Man.
in Wisconsin. Do you have any of that, or not so much?
Absolutely. So I'm down south, like southern Illinois, real far, and a lot of the area that I'm hunting has a lot of like sandstone and a lot of clay, and so when we have really hard rains, the edges of any tree line or anything like that that's close to the edge gets washed away. So it's not uncommon to walk out 2 weeks after a storm and just see 500, 600, 700 yards of tree line just laying on the ground, roots kicked up, everything. And usually the year that happens, it's not worth a nickel. But the year after that, where vegetation, the second year after a wildfire, that area is like the goose. Like,
We are here, but Greg decided to spill beer on the computer, so it doesn't get much.
I'm about to verify my 60-yard pin, and if this thing's golden, boys, I think we got some killer arrows.
Woo!
There you go.
Aim
Okay.
high and let it fly.
That's right.
For those watching live, give me a comment in the comments section if you can hear us now. And there's like a 20-second lag, so there we go. Okay, thank you, Jake, and thank you, Michael, and thank you, Doug, and everybody else. You guys all have like really similar profile colors.
You just noticed that
person. Anyway, well, I have no fucking clue what we're talking about right now because I got real distracted.
Nico was dropping some knowledge on
Word.
Yeah, you were
That's
doing
as far as
great.
I got.
Yeah.
Some a-hole had to open a beer.
Some a-hole had to kick that a-hole.
And then you left the
Oh,
door
mercy
open.
have it.
Yeah.
Don't shut the door. Don't. I'm afraid that if you do anything, it's gonna like disrupt the audio and video feed. Go ahead, you can try. I'll just mute you for a second. Greg, the shit show Tubbs.
Hey, Nico,
Yo.
do you run a lot of cameras down there in the Shawnee? That you were talking about a little bit last week that you had some that you leave up all year and you don't get any people. Do you run a lot of cameras?
Like 6 to 8 in the Shawnee. So usually I'm, like I said, I'm just like scouting for people at that point. Deer movement and big hardwoods like that is really hard to pin down to an exact day. But if you can get bedding down and spend a little bit of time, you'll usually come up on something at that point. But yeah, I'll run like 6 to 8 cameras in the Shawnee. They're not cell cams because you don't have any cell service out there anyway. And I'll just go in once or twice a year, pull cards, change batteries, and that's really about the extent of it.
I was gonna say
Because I'm looking at like a 3-mile hike to the midpoint from where I park my truck to where I start hunting.
So you want to make sure you always flip that camera to the on position before you leave.
And you're using good batteries.
Oh my Lord!
And
I
you have
got-
an SD card in it.
I got some Tacticams on sale. They were refurbished like 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I put them upside down, and they were at an angle. So I had a lot of pictures of the grass.
Oh no.
Like I filled up like a 64 gig card in the first like 3 weeks, and then I had no more pictures after that.
Ouch. That hurts.
Yeah, because I went out and put those in like mid-June.
I don't know if you guys saw it.
It was
Let's say Tyler, our co-founder of
Yeah.
OKS Hunter, he like went to check his trail cam. He's like, I found my batteries died in January. He's like, shit.
yeah.
And I think he may have ordered the wrong arrows for his setup too,
Oh no.
but maybe not. I don't know.
Well, luckily I got some extra ones at home. Maybe I can cut them down and make them fit for them.
Oh my gosh. Well, Nico, dude, thanks for dropping some knowledge. Every time you call in, you always have great stuff to say, and you bring a good perspective because you do some pretty cool hunting. I know you've been sending me some messages of your setup and stuff. It's pretty cool.
I have no life, so this is pretty much consists of what I do.
That's
I go to work and I try to kill things with my bow.
That's all right.
Yeah, and you have a unique approach where you go kind of like you go off the grid. Like, so when are we not going to hear from you? Because once you're out there, you're not talking to anybody. I know when I talked to Jen, he's like, Nico's like not available right now. I was like, oh, what?
Yeah, it'll be. I'm leaving this weekend, and it'll be like 14 days before I'll be back on. So I won't. I mean, you guys aren't having the live podcast next week, so that won't come in anything. But the week after that, I still might not be back. So
Cool.
Well, good luck and stay safe and have fun.
Yeah, go get them, man.
Go get them.
we got a elk tag, a mule deer tag, and a pronghorn tag.
Wow,
and 14 days to fill them.
That sounds awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Right on, guys. Take it easy.
Have fun, man.
Best of
See ya.
luck.
Shoot straight.
Never pass.
Don't forget your release.
Alex Plu, what is up? How's it going? So we got 2 calls on this one. It's cool to hear other people breaking stuff down also, especially people that aren't from here.
Right.
You know, it's nice to get the perspective of
Well, and if you're not
other
breaking
hunters.
things down, maybe it's time to start.
Yep.
You know, if you want to elevate your game, you have to do some scouting.
Bring that
You
up
have
to your
to-
mouth a little bit.
Break things down.
There you go.
I brought it up
Yes, 6
while
to
saying
noon.
down. Yeah.
That's got to be the okayest moment in okayest Hunter podcast history. Cracks a beer, ruins podcast, spills beer on computer.
I'll take partial blame for that.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Cheers to
You
that.
kicked him in the ass or something? What did it?
Well, when he about knocked it over, I gave him a wallop in the
You
butt
did.
here, and then I think that's
got a
when he
wasp in the
spilled
ass,
it.
and I'm
so-
like,
Oh, I thought he did it because he was
shit,
laughing.
down
I
it
thought
goes.
he was like, boom. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? Well, I
Dude,
think
he
the Mac
sauced
can handle
after
it.
One. What the hell's wrong with him?
Yeah, 1 beer queer over
Lightweight.
here.
Lightweight.
Jeez.
Jeez.
Oh,
Eric, I got a question for you.
I don't have any answers, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, you do.
Let's keep
Do you
it
run
interesting.
any trail cameras?
I run 0. I run all my cams through this guy. I got a Greg at home.
See, 'cause this is what I was thinking about. This is the teacher mindset of me.
Mhm.
I was thinking about this, and I thought, trail cams, yeah, they give you deer data, but I thought of them as like an educational tool, and I don't hear people talk about it too much. But like setting up 5 trail cameras with the goal of like, who cares about like hunting this year? But like, I'm gonna try to get a mature buck in daylight.
Mhm.
Like that's like you hunting with a trail camera.
I'm
You get him in daylight.
I'm kind of
You
doing
got
that.
them right. Like,
Yep.
I'm kind of doing that right now.
I think that's like a
So
really
I'm running-
big thing.
I'm running 4 cameras.
Trying to count.
No, I'm just thinking, like, I took some away. I gave someone. I have a friend that doesn't have many cameras. He wants to kind of monitor his property. It's not you, so
I have 1
nice
trail cam.
try.
I don't know what brand it is or where it is,
But
but I tried to take pictures of
gave-
squirrels on
I-
my bird feeders.
I borrowed them out, and they're monitoring their property to try and find a buck because it's been several years since they've shot one.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was me like coming over and talking to him and like making friends with him and our friend.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And he's like, I should get some more cameras. I'm like, I've got a couple on the shelf you can borrow. They're not the best, but they work.
Yep.
All right. And knock on wood, they're still working. But he enjoys getting the pictures as much as I like seeing deer,
Yeah.
So he's getting pictures of deer and he's like, okay, cool. They're all night pictures. What do I do? I'm like,
Not much.
you can't
You
really
just
do a
know
lot.
that there's something there, but
Yeah, you know they're around, but they're not really. It's not doing much for you other than telling you they're around at night or they're around at 3 a.m. They're coming to your fields. They're feeding on your crops, but you got to go further than that.
Mhm.
So you're going to have to park the gator. You're going to have to park the tractor and keep walking.
Yep. Yeah. The gator can't be your tree stand.
No,
I mean, could be, but it depends on what season you're
It's
hunting.
interesting because
But
tons of that. You see tons of that where it's like a field edge, and the guy's
Mhm.
saying, "Oh, they're nocturnal. I'll have to wait them out till they're not nocturnal."
right?
Guys, hate to break this to you, deer are nocturnal animals.
Yeah,
That's
they
what they are.
They,
You
they
have
are
to be
because
close
you.
enough.
They are because you made them that way.
Yeah, you have to get closer.
Yeah.
So I just laugh when they say, "Oh, we'll just wait till they're showing up in daylight." No, just
Yeah.
go freaking get them.
Go find them. Yeah, it's time to go find them.
Just go get them.
You're
Also-
going to have to boot them out of beds,
You're in the wrong
which
spot.
we do. We boot them out of beds, and then we go, well,
you learn something and you make it.
yeah, we learned about this area where we just kicked them out of, and all right, it's pretty aggressive. It's more aggressive than what you're ever going to do. But you look at it and go, the bed's here. We know the prevailing wind does this. The closest food destination food source, be it an oak tree or a crop field,
Mhm.
is over here. I got to put myself between these 2 places. It
we
sounds
just-
simple, and it's pretty simple.
But
We've just missed a caller. Alex, if you want to call back in, we'll grab you up. If you want to jump back in, we'll bring you on. But to your point about the trail cam stuff, I had a good conversation with Cody DeQuisto about this. And given the fact that they sell trail cams
Right.
is a bit ironic, but he hates them. he doesn't hate his or anything, but he trail cams in general, he thinks takes something away from us as hunters. And me never having, my dad's run them for many years. We ran them in the Nicolay National Forest back when they were like brand new pieces of technology. I was like, okay, cool. We're putting a camera on a tree, whatever. But it was fun to see the pictures. Even just seeing nature, I think is cool, regardless of what you're getting. I think just the photos are really fun.
No, my family loves seeing the pictures, even if it's just does and fawns running around.
It's cool to see.
Yeah,
What's
it's fun
there
to see. But is it killing anything?
Well, my thing is, so the buck that I shot last year, I've never seen him before. It was a buck. I was excited. I was jacked as shit. That's me every time, and even with you running trail cams and me hunting in your kind of general region that you've kind of done a lot of the heavy lifting for, there's a little bit of neatness in that because I'm like, oh, is that a buck that we've identified? Oh, is it this one? Was it that one? So that's kind of cool. But really still for me, I was like, it's got horns. I'm shooting it. And I know I'm not called horns. I'm doing that to piss people off on purpose.
Yeah.
But
you can't eat.
So there's something about not running a trail cam that I think keeps the enthusiasm up, because back in the day before that they existed, you might see a buck that you never seen before, and that could be the one.
Right.
Oh yeah. And
just because you see something bigger on trail cam, now you're like waiting out for that one, and you're literally passing up on things because you think there's a bigger one to get. It's grass is greener syndrome, but it seems like it's creating a mental thing for you that might be negative.
Yeah, you're going to be setting yourself up for disappointment.
Yep. So it looks like Alex is back. Let's bring him.
Andy's back.
Hey, Alex, you're live on the show. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yep. Sounds like you're driving. Where are you going?
I'm going to get dinner.
Ooh, what's for dinner? Burger King?
Schlotzky's.
Schlotzky's Deli.
I've not had a Schlotzky's in a while.
Where are you at, man? What state are you in again?
Kansas.
Okay.
South Central Kansas, down by Wichita.
So you've been listening to what we're talking about, breaking down a piece of property, and what's your approach, man?
Well, scout the shit out of it. Off-season scouting, in-season scouting, and that's even on my private piece. I got 80 acres of private that I hunt, and I'm on it for my 7th year now, so I don't do as much scouting in season, but I do a ton of it out of season, after season. I go and walk the property and find what I missed. And typically I don't miss much anymore, but I've got, you guys were talking about getting mature bucks on camera. I have no problem doing that. It's getting them in front of me during season that I'm starting to get better at.
Yeah, that's always proving difficult.
To the trail cam thing, real quick, some of the comments coming through. Tom DeCray was saying he's got 6 cell cams out this year. Great to monitor them without disturbing the woods. I would agree. That's what I'm after. So, like, my goal is to get an arsenal of cell cams and deploy those. But
until
they
state of
money.
Wisconsin decides to ban them.
Yep.
Because I believe Arizona did.
Hopefully they don't, but
I don't know.
Yeah, that's my fear. Once I do start getting cell cams, that they'll turn around and ban them.
Can you just turn that part off?
I don't have any yet.
Right. Yeah, and they're not cheap, you know. I mean, even like the Tacticam Reveal is probably the most reasonably priced model out there, but they're hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, Moultrie has one out now for like $100, and somebody else just came out with another one, but I haven't used them to know if they're worth a shit or not.
Sure,
I've heard a couple good
I've
things.
heard mixed results.
Okay.
Is that the Delta from Moultrie or whatever it's called?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I've heard a little bit of good chatter about that one. I've seen some pictures. The night pictures look really good.
I've heard good and bad. I've seen a couple people on social say, I put it out and it doesn't work. So who knows if it's a firmware thing or what it is. Or they just
that's oftentimes is what it is the firmware. But for cheap cameras that I've had good results with is a Wild View. They're made by GSM, which is Stealth Cam, but they're like $30, $24, depending on where you get them. for a 12 megapixel camera,
That's a good deal.
and they work. I've been scattering them out on a public piece. I don't have any out right now, but I used them last year, and I've been scattering them on my private piece to kind of try and figure out where the deer. Actually, I've figured out where the buck I'm after is entering the property now. I had an idea, but I didn't have any way of verifying it till I threw some cameras out. I'm actually trying to center in on one buck this year. I'm not sure why, but I guess I decided to make it harder on myself.
That'll be a fun mission.
It's a fun mission. I'm doing the same thing. I gave up on it last year and did something else, and I shouldn't have. So this year, I know.
Yeah,
I know who I'm looking for.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm gonna take a stab at him early because I've got 3 years of history on them hitting my food plot
This
on my
sounds
private
familiar.
piece
Yep.
from August to like the second week of October, and then they kind of split up and do their own thing. So I'm going to take a stab at them the end of September, and if I don't get him there, I'm just going to hunt, and whatever comes along and trips my trigger is going to be it.
There you go.
Nothing
Now
wrong
you're
with
speaking
that.
my language.
Never pass shooter bucks.
You bet.
Right.
Well, you say that. I passed that buck I'm after. He crossed me 3 times last year at 25 yards.
Are you filled with
And
regret, or are you feel
I
good
didn't
about
pull
it?
the trigger because he broke his right side off at the brow tine.
Yeah. Let him go another year.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Right? He's only
Battle
5 or
scars.
6 this year.
What a brute.
Right.
Yeah, that's an old one.
That's a bruiser right there.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I shared him recently on my Instagram.
Okay.
It'd be my last post if you
We'll
guys
check it
wanna
out.
look.
We'll go look at it.
Yeah.
We're all about that Instagram.
But yeah, I don't know. I use cameras a lot, not near as much as I used to. I used to be the guy who just loved getting pictures, went out there every 2 weeks. Oh, look at this one. Look at this one. But I've really gotten away from it now. I try and just put them out and leave them and then use the data the next season is what I'm trying to do. And it's helped me a lot more doing that than checking them every 2 weeks.
No, I agree with that.
You get a lot more real data because you're not altering the area. You're
Right.
seeing how they naturally use it.
You got it.
No doubt. And then I'm going to try and tie that in with the Spartan Forge intel. That stuff's amazing. I used it all last season, and the only 2 sits, private and public, I only had 2 sits I didn't see deer on, and I second guessed where I was originally going to go sit and went somewhere else.
Yeah,
And
I
kicked
know.
myself in the ass.
Yeah, you
for
mentioned
it.
that on a different call, I think. Did you win a membership from us, or did you get the discount code, or?
No, I went ahead and picked it up when it was at $20, so I'm locked in at $20. Luckily.
Yeah, everyone should go lock themselves in at that 25% off because then you'll be good. But yeah, but
Yeah, it's a great app or a great program, and the app that's coming out looks like it's going to be awesome with the mapping and everything on it.
Yeah, that's exciting. I can't wait to see that, and
we're happy to be a part of it.
I'm hoping to dump a few apps along the way.
Yep, same.
Yeah,
the economics will be in our
I
favor.
am too. I haven't been too happy with one of the ones everybody screams about. I won't say it, but
Sure.
it's names for property owners have been wrong, and the last 3 people I've contacted about getting permission on said we don't own that property anymore and haven't for 3 to 4 years.
I just noticed my name is finally on my property. I was like, wait, that's me.
Yeah.
It's about damn time.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been frustrating trying to contact landowners, and the people you're contacting don't even own it anymore.
Yeah, it's rough.
And they don't know who bought it. They don't care anymore.
But,
when you sell a house, you don't give a shit.
No.
You're like, wash your hands.
No,
and
they
move on.
don't.
Pretty much.
I don't know who that poor schmuck is, but it ain't me.
Yeah. But man, you guys drink a beer for me. I can't
Cheers,
drink
buddy.
anymore. Doctor gave me bad liver report on my blood panel, so
Oh shit!
I'm not supposed to be drinking.
All right.
Well,
We'll take a sip every now and again, maybe, but we'll definitely cash them for you.
Yeah, I probably will. It'll happen.
At least you're
As of
honest.
right now.
Just in celebration.
Hey, Doc, quality of life, motherfucker. It's like, that ain't your liver.
You can
If
spare.
I shoot the deer I'm after, I'll probably have one for sure.
You know, the drop tine moonshine is not very alcoholic at all, but very tasty. It's apple based. It's good. We have some
Yeah,
in our studio.
I've been trying. I need to see if I can find it here local. I don't know if anybody here around me has it yet. I need to do some looking.
Some
and
of
try
some
that.
of the smaller liquor stores or festival. I don't know. If you
Festival
guys
just
have-
launched.
Yeah,
You can
Festival.
get it online too. You know, so you can buy it from them also if you're 21. Which
Yeah, I might have to do that.
Yep.
We don't have a discount code because alcohol. That's all I can say. Like, it's,
Right.
it's not kosher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of much of a discount on alcohol for anything.
Nah,
Yeah.
not so
It's
much.
a different game, but we're happy to share their stuff. I mean, the buck on the bottle is just a beautiful buck. I mean, really, in the stance that he's on too, it's like he's on a mountain. It's just great. All right, well, Alex, thanks for calling into the show.
hey-
You're entered in for next month's giveaway.
I was
So
just going to tell you. I was just going to tell you the new studio looks good. You guys did a great job on that.
Thanks, boss.
Thanks.
And whenever you want to come down to Kansas and hang some sheetrock, I got plenty for you.
All right.
you don't want us doing it, man.
Sheet
I gotta
rock
get a
and we'll
second
go
coat of
drop
paint
some trail cams.
on the
How's that
walls. I
sound?
can see bald spots right here. I gotta redo the freaking.
Fire the painter. The painter did a shit
I
job.
did it quick in the dark, basically.
Hey, I already gave you the okayest sheetrockers. That's
You
your
did.
business.
I did see that. And
I don't
did
need
like
another
it.
business model. Yeah, I'm trying to like shut shit down.
Doesn't have to be great. Just good.
Just okay.
At least I know what sheetrock is now.
Have a good night.
You
Yeah,
too,
see
Yeah,
bud.
buddy.
good luck this
We'll
season.
talk to you.
Thanks, man. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Good stuff. I messaged a couple people to call in. I don't know if they'll make it or not, but we can keep chatting because I don't think we dissected the topic completely.
No, we keep getting derailed.
You know, Anthony Heller, he's putting his kids to bed, so he can't call in, but he does the deer vein. We did his archery shoot at his property, and I had him on a number of years ago, and he broke it down into like, here are the 5 ways that I approach it. And he,
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it was really awesome.
And a lot of these guys have their thing.
Yep.
You know, and it all makes sense. If you listen to what they have to say, don't listen to us. Listen to him.
He's like shaking his head.
He's like, no.
He's like, no, guys, I don't
But
want to get.
it's all what works for everybody. Like,
Right.
he's like this guy, you know, some guys have a system. You talk to Garrett Prawl.
Yep.
He's like the most analytical thinker. Like you can just see him on his videos, how he processes information. It's wildly different than how I do it.
Right.
So when I listen to him, I'm like cringing because I'm like, oh my God, I cannot do that. I'm like
But that's the beauty of
by
this.
the gut, by the feel. Like
That's the beauty of this community
different
is
for
everybody
everybody.
does something different. And you know what? You can pick and choose, and maybe you take a little bit of Garrett Prawl and you take a little bit of Derek Melkor and you take some
don't
Eric
even
Clark.
put those in the same sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing
And
is
you
just
take all 3 of those
risks.
guys and you kind of, okay, I can take some of Eric's and some of Derek's and some
yep.
of Garrett's and we can
And whoever.
figure this all out.
Sounds like a weird hillbilly song.
I'm really
Does.
hoping Jared. I'm really hoping Jared Norwood calls into this one to talk about his approach. I can't even imagine the swamp nut donkey.
Yeah, Mossy Nuts, the swamp donkey.
Like he
Yeah,
inspired
buddy.
the donkey, the swamp donkey shirt. But my approach is entrepreneurial. Take risks. Get out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Like do action. Like that's how I operate in life. So when I go to the deer woods, I'm an impatient MFer. I'm out there like I'm just really impatient. So I'm aggressive, not by default, but just not on purpose. I'm just aggressive because I'm really impatient. So when I was watching Dan Infault 3 years ago or whatever and talking to him, I got to a swamp edge and normally that's where I would stop. And I said, fuck that. Onward. Put it in drive. And I was like, let's go. And I marched through that and I felt really proud about it. I was like, I'm doing this. This is great. And I found myself in buck bedding. For the first time in my entire hunting career, I understood what the fuck was going on because I took a leap and left my comfort zone. And that's where the learning happens. And that's in life and in business and in deer hunting. And it's all the same to me. So you start to apply this stuff and it's exciting. So I don't have any tactics. I just have approaches and I have like principles that I live by. We do have a caller that's getting screened right now. I know who it is. Hi, Bill. What are you wearing?
Oh man,
Don't say khakis.
I'm in my scouting outfit right now. So
What's your scouting outfit? Are you wearing some First Light? What does that look like? Well, not what it looks like. What does it feel like?
no, it's. I should say it's my it's basketball shorts and a t-shirt. I'm sitting in my truck glassing a soybean field.
What
you
you should have told him was you're in your skivvies, no t-shirt, you lost your pants, and your boots are somewhere in the muck.
And you went from 6 to noon.
He would have went 6 to noon.
It does look like. I mean, they are short shorts. In the military, we call them silkies.
Yeah, so he went 6 to
they
midnight.
offend everyone that sees me in them.
Are you wearing your Go Fasters?
Go Fasters.
That's they call
Is that
tennis
another
shoes.
name for silkies?
That's what they call tennis shoes in the Marine Corps. I don't know what they call them in the Army, but Go Fasters.
Oh yeah. I don't know anything about that jarhead.
Oh shit. Hey, Bill, did you hear our last caller, Alex, was bragging about your software? I can't call it app just yet.
No, because I have no data out here, so I'm only calling you. I have like 1X right now, so I was planning on listening when I got back, but I wanted to call in.
Yeah. So how do you, given all the intel that you have, by the way, for those listening, this is Bill Thompson, the founder of Spartan Forge. How are you breaking down a property either with or without your tech? Because you're a pretty hardcore hunter. Like you think whitetail 24/7. So I'm curious to hear what that looks like for you.
So I guess I'm going to be underwhelming here. For as much as I talk about, the data science and all of those things, everybody still has their, like, how can I say it? Their methods that work for them. And until it burns me, I keep using it. And for me, it's like, look for scraping near transition and bedding and wait for that scraping to get like hot or used, whether that's through, scouting through the season or placing a cell cam where I know those historical scrapes are getting used. And then I monitor the primary winds and I pay attention to when those scrapes are getting worked corresponding with those winds. And then I wait for that right wind and the setup and I move in, when I feel like the conditions are right. So it sounds simple, I guess, but it's really like the two things that I look for is from a satellite mapping or imagery perspective is vegetative transition that's conducive to movement. And then I will scout those areas looking for, generally scraping, maybe 5% of the time it's rubbing. And then on top of that is where the doe's bedding. And then where are the scrapes that are near that bedding. And then recently I've also looked for like scrapes that's near buck bedding, but I'm still focusing on that doe scraping is the most. So when I find that scrape or I feel like I found an area where a scrape should be, I'll either make it or I'll either make that scrape, which for me is just really rudimentary. It's clear some leaves from the ground, make sure there's a licking branch that's, at buck level or slightly above it. And I'll piss in the scrape myself and set a cell camera up over it or an SD card camera and wait for for the usage to hit. And once that happens, I wait for the right wind conditions and I'll hunt it. And I mean, I'm usually successful doing that. And now, mind you, that situation I just described, I'll have 10 or 11 of those sets set up at any time. And maybe 1 or 2 of them will be super productive.
And you go ass because you're doing it right now. Greg has something to say here. He's looking
at me funny. I just got a wise ass comment to say. Okayest hunter tip of the week.
Let's hear it.
Okayest hunter tip of the week.
Okayest hunter.
That's right. A little Bill Thompson's Buckman juice goes a long way.
Oh, geez.
You guys have, I've never heard that in-show comment there. Can you hit that okayest hunter one again?
Okayest hunter.
I've been hitting it when I learned something new.
Yeah, lately. I think when Eric and I first started talking, I told him I thought that was one of the best little sound bites in the industry.
Do you know how many people hate that sound?
Remember that, Eric?
Best or worst? I think
it's either or.
I do too. It's funny.
People are like, I leave the video before that happens because I fucking hate it. And then other people like, they'll like throw the window on and yell at Greg at a gas station. Okay, it's Hunter.
No joke. Granted, it was a buddy.
Yeah,
I've known.
but if they hate it, they remember it.
They
Yeah, it's one
certainly
of those
do.
things you hate to love. You're like, it's in your head.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like the Mentos, right? Nobody wants to sing the Mentos song, but everybody knows it.
Right.
It's like that. That's like that movie. What's that? Inside Out, where they're like double mint gum, double triple mint gum. Where everybody's like, "Damn it!" So, sometimes we just send us one to fuck with them. That's us. We're the OK Hunters. So messing with your brain.
Hey, Bill, I got a question for you. So you said you got,
Yeah.
you got maybe 10, 11, you got a dozen of these setups, and you're kind of playing which one's going to be the good one. Are these just spread across multiple properties, or are you like putting multiple, like say you got a scrape on the north side of a bedding area, or like the south side and the east side playing off predominant winds, or are you spreading them over multiple properties?
Yeah, they're over multiple properties. I would say, so I hunt an area in Western Maryland called Green Ridge State Forest, where it's crazy how many people, I mentioned it in another podcast, and I've had like 4 or 5 guys reach out and been like, "You're successful out there? Like, like, can I see some of the deer?"
Then
And they're like, "I can't believe those deer are out there. Like, I killed a good, like 145-inch deer there 3 years ago. And people can't believe that those deer are out there, but they're there. So on that property, that's about 10,000 acres. And I have walked almost all of that property. I can actually name the few places that I need to go to. I have 3 scrape cameras on that entire 10,000 acres.
That gives you street cred, Bill, as the owner of Spartan Forge.
Yes.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
That gives you street cred as the owner of Spartan Forge.
Because I have spent an inordinate and wasteful amount of time doing scouting on the ground.
No, that is not. That's not wasteful. That goes to tell you that in a national forest setting or a big woods setting like that,
you have
10,000 acres. You found 3 spots that you felt like deer would walk by in daylight. That says a lot right there. Somebody can learn a lot from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of them is a doe where I know does are always bedded. And it's right off of a very steep ridge where there's just a tiny bench, and there are always doe there. And for about a week during the rut, I will see a ton of bucks there. One of them is an escape area that has a scrape in it, where like 4 or 5 different, I call them escape zones, but really during like rifle opener on like the 21st of November, it's just where 5 areas come together where it's easy for deer to get out. So I'll get in there like 3 a.m., set up. And when most hunters are getting in at like 4 or 5, I'll hear deer running past me as they're pushing people out. And then what I'm waiting for is when all of those rifle hunters leave their sets at like 10 a.m., I'll see another large influx of deer that are getting pushed out through that area.
Classic.
And generally what the bucks will do is they'll work a scrape on their way out.
That's cool.
That's interesting that you mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
I do a very similar thing when I'm up north, and every mature deer I've shot up north has been between 11 and 1 when people are going out to lunch.
It pays to stay in
my
there.
First buckshot was
all midday.
Eat a cold
buckshot
lunch.
sounds funny, but my first buckshot was lunchtime because that's what had happened. Another hunter pushed a buck, and I was like, I was getting down for lunch. I would have not been there if my dad didn't wait for his pokey ass to give it to me. Sorry, Dad. Hey, Bill, we got another caller behind you. I'm going to get to him because it's one of your pro staffers, Jake Bush, if that's all right with you.
Bush.
We'll let you go back to
Oh,
class.
awesome.
Unless you want to stay on, we can bring him on
when I
with
get
you.
back to the house, I'll be listening.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks,
Talk to you
bud.
soon.
All right, guys. Pleasure. Have a good night.
Yep.
Thanks, bud.
See ya.
Hey, Jake, you are live on the OK Center podcast. How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Jake
your
Excellent.
Your audio is clean. By the way, before we get into anything, I need to say that I'm running the Latitude Method 2 saddle, and your video today just blew my mind. I messaged
it
Greg
was yesterday.
Well, whatever. I saw it today.
Because you're a behinder.
Yeah, whatever. And I was like, holy shit, I just thought that was for like excess rope or something like that. I didn't realize that was a way to one-hand that. So guess what? I'm not buying any extra stuff.
OKest Hunter.
Okay, yeah, okay. Thanks, Greg.
You're welcome. Right.
Oh,
Anyway.
you're talking about the tender.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I didn't, and I talked to Alex.
Tender.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I talked to Alex on the regular, and that was not, I was not made aware of that. just in general. Like
you were supposed to watch the video.
I watched the videos.
You didn't pay
I sat in a
attention.
tree for 45 minutes. My wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, watching YouTube videos while I'm sitting in a saddle.
You
Or
were fucking the dog. What's going on, Jake?
welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. First timer.
Yeah, thanks for having me call in. Cool.
You know, we definitely talk enough on social media, so it's good to hear your voice in person.
Yeah, you were hanging out of your saddle in your cabin
absolutely.
house. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, and it's right inside the house. That's I guess the good part about having a log cabin is there's trees all over the place inside the house. So
That was
worked out pretty good.
That's great. I was like, whoa.
Some guy got a hold of me and he's like, hey, I really don't understand why you'd hang off the back side of that and have that much visibility for a deer. And I was like, dude, I'm in my house. Like, calm down, man.
Okayest Hunter.
You just
That's what he was.
Real aggressive with
You
this button
pull
over
the
here.
shades to close the blinds. They can't even see you.
No.
I had a buddy trying out the method too at my house last weekend. We went fishing in the morning on Saturday. He came over afterwards. He wanted to try it out. And he's like, this is good for napping. He's like, this is a knapsack, not a saddle. I was like, there we go. So that's my tip of the week. But how are you breaking down?
Oh yeah, it's slick for sure.
Down properties like you are. I mean, you moved from New York to Ohio to hunt bucks. Like, how are you breaking down properties? I think I got that right.
So what I do is I start on my maps. You know, I'm a part of Spartan Forge now, so that's going to be a big part of my arsenal from here forward. But basically, I start on the maps and I locate, like for hill country, I'll locate any leeward ridge that I think has a lot of different aspects to it, as far as like different points that jut out and just a lot of topography in general. And I'll mark like, you know, every one of them that I think is going to be pretty good. And I'm kind of more like the bullheaded style where I'll go actually put boots on the ground in all of those spots. So throughout the spring and summer, I'll go shed hunt those areas, and then I'll actually summer scout them and mark down like the ones that I just, you know, I found a bunch of hunter sign, I found a bunch of deer sign, I found what I think would be like more of a rut area versus an early season area versus late season. Try to put all those pieces together and formulate a game plan for cameras. And then, you know, I'll take, say it's a 10,000 acre section. I'll take my favorite 5 spots on there and I'll run cameras. I'll glass on the private ag fields nearby if there's any ag. I'll glass clear cuts. I'll do whatever I have to do just to basically fine tune what bucks are in the area and then how to make my approach.
Derek, I see your gears turning.
Oh yeah, Jake, I followed you on Instagram and social for a while. The first time I ever talking to you, and I gotta say, I just love the stuff that you're doing, and you're finding sheds all year long. Summer pictures, summer scouting. You're constantly picking up sheds in your areas. That's awesome. Oh
yeah, I find them pretty much all season, and it's really cool because I know a lot of people that they find sheds and they write off those areas for hunting season. Sometimes they're like,
Sure.
you know, deer winter in different areas. And I actually made a post today where I found a shed this spring. You know, I found what I just told you guys about. Leeward side.
Yep.
Has a lot of topography. Looks like it wouldn't have a lot of pressure. So I went up in there and it was like a shed gold mine. I found like 5 or 6 sheds within a 200-yard oak flat, couple old ones, couple fresh ones. So I was like, okay, I'll come back and throw some cameras in here. And I did just that. And the 2 of the sheds that I found are the 3 and 4 year old bucks in there this year that are like, I've had them on camera all summer and all coming into late summer now, 10 yards away from where I found both their sheds. So, you know, it depends on your habitat a lot. It depends on hunter pressure. There's a lot of different things that go into it, but a lot of these areas do hold bucks year round. You know, if they're not getting bumped out of there and they have food and cover, they don't have to leave. They don't have to migrate to ag. They don't have to do any of that stuff. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, you're 100% right. They don't have to and they don't want to, right? Where you're finding sheds a lot of the time is the places that are their personal sanctuaries. That's where they want to be. And even when other deer, like northern Wisconsin, where we find a lot of sheds, we do a lot of walking. Snow depth usually plays a huge role in where we find sheds, because if it's a lot of snow early, you know, they head somewhere, cedar swamps, deep stuff. But if the snow depth isn't wildly, full, you'll have all the does and fawns get out of an area, but those bucks will still sit in their favorite little hidey holes. And you run a camera, just like you said. We did this probably 10 years ago. Found some really nice sheds in this deep, dark cedar swamp, this little island back there. Threw a camera up there. Oh my God! All summer long, there was like 3 mature bucks, big bucks, were up by us, and they did exactly what you said. They lived there all summer, and then in the fall, their sign was all around there. It's exactly what you just illustrated.
Yeah, once they're comfortable.
Exactly. And yeah, 100%. And those deer to me are the most killable because you can pattern them like no other deer. You can get in there in the wintertime, you can track them around, turn like your tracker on whatever app that you use, and you can track those deer. And then you can overlay that with your summertime scouting, like, hey, I had a scrape here, I had a licking branch here, I had a rub line here, they're bedded here, and all of those pieces start coming together, and that deer is very killable from what I've seen anyways. Like those are, I've scouted pretty much 90% of Ohio at this point as far as public land goes. And the deer that I find that are the biggest, but B, like the most killable of the top 10 biggest bucks I find are the ones that are in that area all year round.
Do you almost find that and maybe this sounds weird, but like, do you find that some of those older deer who have been in those areas are almost like overconfident betters? Like you can go in there and like, they're like so bulletproof because they've been using that for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years that like you can almost bump them, but they're like, yeah, like this spot's so bulletproof, I'm coming back. Like, do you ever find that, or are they boogieing when you put pressure on?
So 9 times out of 10, what I find is those deer will come back within even a day or two if it's the same wind. I told a story on a podcast a while back where I was summer scouting 2 years ago, and I kept bumping this really nice 10-point off a ridge, and I was actually scouting just a giant at the time. So I would come out and I had to cross over this ridge to get back to my truck. And 3 or 4 days in a row, I bumped that buck out of his bed in the exact same spot. And he would run down the ridge and run to the other side and look back at me, and I'd glass him. And it was just like the thing that we did every day, but I could not get that deer to leave that area. And yeah, I mean, I see that all the time. The biggest buck I've ever killed, I bumped out of his bed 12 days before season, 14 days before I killed him.
Yeah, I think you talked about this.
I see it time and time again.
I think you talked about this last year with me on Tactic Talk, where to hunt. Another unveil here. You're going to be debuting on our episode next week. We're going to be taking some of those. You're one of the personalities that's going to make that episode. But Zach Fehrenbaugh said the same thing. I bumped a buck, came back later the same day, and he was in the bed again.
Well, and I got one too that we're going to see.
So that's interesting. And Bill just commented too, and he said, I find they come back because they believe the spot worked. So that was a myth that I didn't really understand until last year, where I thought I bumped a buck and I thought, well, that's it. It's game over now. It's done. I blew my chance. And come to find out, as I learned from some of these other folks like Jake, yourself, and Zach and Bill and so forth, that they think that bed worked. They heard you coming, they ran. They're going to come back to that bed. It was effective for them. So now you have to just kind of take your approach differently.
Right. And go check that bed out. Like the one I just bumped last weekend. Mm-hmm. I went in that bed and that thing's been used. And last year I bumped a beer. A beer? A beer.
Greg the beer killer. You can't come from the couch. Bullshit.
Yeah, bullshit. Watch
kill the couple.
Hold my deer and watch my beer. No, but I bumped a deer right out of that bed. And I mean, I think it was the same deer I'm after. Okay. So we're going to find out because I bumped him and then I dropped a camera. So we'll see what happens.
Everything that Jake was just mentioning, and
I was just thinking about that.
Your exact setup.
Yeah,
you and I have had this conversation since you were hunting him.
So I'm hoping. Let's see what's going to conspire here.
Jake, do you follow the MSU Deer Lab page on Instagram?
I do. Yeah, I see a lot of those.
Their studies
that they're posting that are really cool.
Yeah, there's one post that is recent that they posted of like the winter, spring versus summer, fall, and they compared it to rut and non-rut. And this is some of the stuff that I think Bill has anyways against multiple deer. So like buck 20 is just one buck, and it's a really great use case or one specific anecdote. But I think what Bill's building with Spartan Forge is, this on steroids, but it's interesting to see the patterns in their movement and kind of align that to what you're talking about. If you turn your tracking on and start to capture some of that stuff, and then you have this too, it's just a recipe for success. It sounds like you're on the right track. So Nim, thanks for calling into the episode this week or the show.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And one more thing too, I had a podcast a while back, and there was a couple guys that were newer to the bed hunting thing, and they were asking me, like, how can I get better at, breaking down a piece of property, finding beds, and then figuring out how to hunt those beds, or like when a buck's actually there. And, season's approaching. A lot of spots, if you think you have deer in that area that maybe you don't want to shoot, maybe you have, let's say 5 to 8 bucks located, but you're like, these 3, number 5 through 8, I really don't care about, and I'm not going to target them. You can go in there at any point before season, after season, during season, it doesn't matter. Without your bow in hand, with your bow in hand, it doesn't really matter. But you can go in and set up like a fake hunt almost, and then try to bump him out of his bed. Say, hey, I know this deer is bedded on this north facing point on this east to west ridge. Go in there and bump him off that bed and glass him. And that's as good as killing one, if you ask me. The intel you're gaining and the experience from that will just help you as well. So just a little tip.
That's a great tip, because another mature buck, even if that one's killed, is going to try to, they'll eventually resolve to something similar, right? The terrain features and the topography and the vegetation or what have you, and the elevation, they'll be like, well, this is a spot that I'm going to be hard to kill in. And they'll lay down there too.
Yep.
I mean, beds get reused by different bucks, right?
Certainly.
I mean, just like muskies are territorially in the water in a river bend because the flowage or whatever, I think bucks are probably similar.
Yeah. There's a reason.
I'm not a muskie fisher, though. I only know this because I haven't caught muskies.
Hey, but it sounded pretty cool.
It was a great analogy.
The only muskie I ever caught jumped into my boat. So, hey, okay, it's muskie fisher.
So you did catch one.
Yeah.
It caught us. I don't know.
The boat caught it.
I'll tell you what, a muskie jumping in your boat has all the fight left in it. Try to catch that thing with your hands did not go well.
Well, Jake, I'm sure you're on to a few good ones this season. Best of luck. Let us know how you do.
Yeah, we'll be following.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good luck to you as well.
Thanks,
have a good night. I think what we'll do here now, we're into this thing an hour and a half. Let's go into our winner that I promised. I got this. I'll share the screen. So, and for those listening, you can hear this live. Careful with the table taps there.
Sorry.
Let's not like, I don't want to.
Hey, as long as you don't pop a beer, you're fine.
No doubt. Let's see here. Where is it? So it is the names. All right. I think those watching can see the screen.
A little premature, Greg.
Yeah, it's okay. It happens.
And let's give her a spin and see what we got. So these are all the people that called in over the last month. So every month we'll take a pool of all the calls. So when you call in, I jot your name down and then I paste it into this and we'll spin the wheel. And that's how it works. So you're going to win something from OKS Hunter. I think you're going to win a t-shirt. I think a beer camp shirt is in order. Here we go. What do we got? Who's going to win? Shut the front door.
Who is it?
Oh my God. It was like going to be Ryan from Deers and Beers, and then it wasn't. Ryan. It's Greg Morgan from First Gen Outdoors.
He's winning everything.
Did he win last time?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't win the saddle.
No, he didn't win the saddle. Sorry. Greg, congratulations.
Greg's like, sure, my name? You.
Greg's jealous of the other
Greg Morgan with
That's fine.
First Gen Outdoors. You
okay.
just won a beer camp
It's
shirt.
okay.
That's what you're getting for this deer season. We wish that it gives you the best of luck this season.
Yeah.
Folks, keep calling into the show. And this makes it fun for us, right?
Yeah, we love hearing from you. I mean, we love it when our train gets derailed. So the more you call, the more we derail.
We have to derail ourselves otherwise. We're pretty good at it now.
We are good at it.
We like the caller derails.
Yeah, we do.
Ryan's watching, goes, laugh out. Greg's a worthy winner. But it was like, I thought it was going to land on Ryan. I was excited for him because Deers and Beers deserves a beer camp shirt.
Yeah, they certainly do.
I guess they're going to have to pay for it like everybody else.
Wow.
Sorry, guys. I don't know.
Somebody's got to fund the beers.
Yeah.
Hey, they're part of the show. So
they are. I think
they did our cheers this week.
Honorary mention. We need to facilitate this request of a beer camp shirt to Deers and Beers.
All right.
Two of them.
Sounds like a proper fit.
It does.
A proper fit. The shirt fits great. They're just going to spill beer on it.
He's going to wear it when he's shooting at the paper plate to see who's going to shoot big buck.
That's right.
Ryan,
Ryan said that Greg owes him a beer now. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's the other Greg, the one that won.
Yeah.
He'll mention my last name if it's me.
There we go. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in this week. What did you do? One more.
Okayest Hunter.
Y'all are okay. We appreciate everybody that tunes in. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do the shameless plug bullshit. Send us a freaking rating and review on iTunes if you get a chance.
Yeah, we're only four episodes in
to this season, to this brand.
I
think this is number 5, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know how to count, so
yeah,
don't count on me.
We know. You don't even take your boots off anymore, which is probably a good thing.
Boots? I don't wear boots.
Crocs,
gum leaves, Crocs, shoes. I don't know.
Go Fasters. You're wearing, yeah. Are those white New Balances?
They used to be.
You are an old white guy. Shit.
All right,
Those
guys.
are the 504s.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Don't forget your release. Never pass. And I don't know, whatever else we say.
Don't forget your release.
Yeah. Drink beer and talk smart.
There we go. Adios.
All right. See ya.